What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here of the BlockHash Podcast, your number one resource for all that is happening across the emerging tech space. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen to or watch the show. Today, I'm joined by another wonderful guest, Alexis Yellow. He is the captain of the Yellow Network. Alexis, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you here today. How you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Likewise. To get things underway, would love to learn a little bit more about yourself, if you don't mind telling us a bit about your background. What kind of got you into the Web3 space and piqued your interest, and then eventually how that also kind of led to Yellow Network.
So originally, I'm a software engineer. I was working in the European Space Center, and a friend from school reached out to me. He was a market maker at Goldman Sachs, and together we created this market maker in 2013, and we started servicing Ripple and other big coins in the space, emerging coins. So we've been 12 years in the space, and about 6 years ago, I saw these problems. We were one of the biggest traders in crypto, and I saw all these problems that we had. That we were like trading on centralized exchanges mainly, and we're promoting this trustless vision of Satoshi, but we're trading centralized, and all these exchanges going past. Mt. Gox, Just Coin, and others that just made it like Bybit or so I really wanted to fix that, and I wanted to bring this crypto to traditional finance, and that's why we created Yellow to bridge the gap between DeFi and TradeFi with what we call TrustFi.
Nice. Tell me a bit more about how, bridging DeFi, TradFi, and making this TrustFi for Yellow Network. What kind of underpins that? Like, what are some of the things that you guys are focused on trying to accomplish with Yellow Network in terms of problems that you guys are trying to solve or things to make better?
It all comes to what you can build with smart contracts. And Gavin Wood in 2014, he had this vision that he called, and he coined the term Web3. That was Gavin Wood. And he said it's going to be this non-reliance on centralized entities to do business between two parties. But it never really happened because we find that the developers don't have the full toolkit or everything they need. So what we've built at Yellow is like the Yellow SDK, and this is an SDK that allows like Web2 developers to connect to any blockchain, to use state channels, and to build apps, dApps that are trustless in nature, not on the execution that is already trustless with Polygon or Solana or any smart contract. You know that it's going to execute, but what we bring is a level of deeper of you can do a trustless app between two parties interacting with each other. So that's the big difference of Yellow. Yellow SDK extends. So let's say that Ethereum extends the vision of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was the central trustless value. You don't need to trust governments. Blockchain is transfer of value without trusting banks. Smart contracts like Ethereum is trustless execution and trustless arbitration. But the what's going on between the two parties, that still requires trust. So you can still build an app where two parties interact with each other, but trust is still involved. And we saw this with Hyperliquid recently, when Hyperliquid closed the market and they had to indemnify all the users because the users were not really protected. They still had to trust Hyperliquid. So what Yellow SDK allows you to build is an app where two parties can trust, don't need to trust each other, a bit like a buyer and the seller in Amazon. They don't need to trust each other because they have this central entity, Amazon, that is making sure that everything goes on all right. So it's the same, but with a autonomous Amazon without people supervising. It's an extension of Ethereum. So on the thought process, Ethereum is an extension of Bitcoin, and Yellow is an extension of this Ethereum smart contract, where the inside of what developers are building is trustless. So you can have a bank trading against an exchange like Binance without trusting Binance. Okay, where the profit is because thanks to this new paradigm of trustlessness, instead of 30,000 computers supervising transactions, in our new paradigm with state channels that we call it, we transfer instantly the profit between the two parties. So let's say a trader and the broker are trading. The trader buys one Bitcoin for $100,000. The price of Bitcoin goes up $5,000. $5,000 are instantly transferred to the trader. So if the broker like Hyperliquid decides to close the market, it doesn't matter because I already have my $5,000 in my wallet. So it's a new paradigm shift. It's not trustless thanks to decentralization. It's trustless thanks to instant PNL. So the state channels is a bit like Lightning networks for Bitcoin. So it's an evolution. It's Lightning networks for Ethereum. That's what state channels is. And instead of transferring value, we transfer profit back and forth between the two parties. So when things go wrong, everybody's happy because they already have their position at that time. It's really cool because it's a new way of thinking trustlessness. And just as a reminder to your audience, trustlessness is the goal of Bitcoin, Ethereum. Decentralization is just a means to the goal. Okay, and 30,000 computers supervising every single aspect of our business doesn't make sense. We are peer to peer, and we cryptographically prove every transaction or every interaction between the parties. And on the end of the day or on the end of the month or whenever we settle, and just like when you ask some service to a company or to a contractor, he's going to do A, B, C, D, and he's not charging you for A, B, C, D. He does A, B, C, D, and then you settle. So that's state channels, and that's what Yellow SDK brings. Yellow SDK brings uh, connection to all the blockchains, state channels to be able to build dApps where two parties don't trust each other, and things like account abstraction. So you can log in without a mask. You can log in with your Gmail or whatever. Like really, it's all these tool sets that we need for Web2 developers to build Web3 apps where the Web3 user doesn't really even understand he's using Web3. It's just working autonomously as Gavin Wood had imagined 2014, uh, 11 years ago. So as he had imagined 11 years ago, it's just the missing tools. And there was this hackathon, ETH Prague. There was 800 developers there, and two of the 10 finalists were using Yellow SDK. That's how cool it is. There's like 20 apps already developed, and there's like 30 to 50 apps more coming. Uh, we're doing hackathons, and developers are loving it. And the person that joined us to manage this Yellow SDK is the CTO of Cosmos. It's like I think he made enough money to for his grandchildren to live. It's not like out of passion he joined Yellow SDK, and he's managing this. And on top of that, we have the broker layer, like this example I told you, uh, traders trading against banks without trusting banks. So for this broker layer, we have the CTO of Bybit that also joined us. We have an amazing team of people that really believe in what we've built. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, it sounds amazing what's going on with Yellow Network, and thank you for that breakdown. It makes a lot of sense. I want to double down on this trustless aspect a little bit more, specifically for traders. Um, can you highlight maybe some of the benefits of having it trustless like this from a trading point of view? When you, I guess, eliminate or abstract away third party involvement, um, and you create a system that's trustless like this, Why is that so beneficial for a trader, and why should a trader in particular be excited about it?
Well, if you're trading crypto, it means well, either you're speculating, which is maybe 99%, but the 1% of us that believe in what we're trading, which is Satoshi's vision of a way to to have value without trusting a government, or a way to transfer that value without trusting third parties, or Vitalik, a way of execution or arbitration without trusting people or corporations or a government. It's like trust the code, not trust the corporation. So it's really, but it's also for corporations. It's like, let's automate things and trust the code. We don't need to trust people to do certain things. So if you believe in this vision, and then you're trading in centralized exchanges, that's really cool, but you're taking the risk, and it's two opposite ways of thinking. So you trade in centralized exchanges, like 95% of trades, I think, are in centralized exchanges because they're very convenient. But people are taking huge risks. And after 12 years, like FTX, like so many people thought they lost all their money. Hopefully they recovered most of it. But, like, it's crypto. It's just too juicy. It's just too juicy to why would you let an exchange hold all your assets? And it's just too juicy for any hacker, any insiders to try to get those assets, kidnap people, whatever. Like, why would you want to take that? Why would you want to take that risk? So another, you or your custodian should be the owners of the holders of your assets, either you or a regulated custodian that is holding them on your name. So if you believe in what you're trading and what you're owning, you should trade with this with the same trustless intent. That was my desperation at my previous company, GSR. That we were like all the time, like it did not fit, our trading did not fit what we were trading. It's like, if you really believe in green energy, maybe, and you're driving this 2000 horsepower, whatever, or you're burning fuel, or like you're not taking care of the environment. It makes sense for traders who believe in crypto to trade without trusting the counterparty they're trading with. And it's better for everybody. It's better for the exchange. It's that liability they don't have anymore. Exchanges don't make they shouldn't make money with user funds. If they're making money with user funds, like, it it could be the next FTX. Like, there is ways to make money with users funds, like with fiat or something. It's okay, have some interest, have some like buy T bills and make small interest with the fiat side of the equation. But when they're putting the user funds at risk, and like really crazy risks like FTX, in the way they believe, and it's better for everybody. It's better for exchanges. Why would exchanges want to take the risk unless they are trying to speculate with user funds? And traders should be wary. Like, you don't want exchanges to be speculating with your Bitcoin, and putting them into crazy risks, or investing them into the next meme coin, or or whatever they're going to be doing with your hard-earned assets. So you don't want that. So if the exchange is square, and it has an alternative to not hold those assets and still earn those trading fees, it's better for everybody. So the Yellow network, in essence, is a better solution for square exchanges. Square in the sense that they're not trading with user funds, which they shouldn't. And if the exchange is not going to trade with user funds, Yellow network is a better solution both for the broker and for the trader.
Nice, nice. I totally agree with that, and I like the sentiment behind keeping things trustless, and I think the benefits just in general for traders there. Another thing I saw that was very interesting for a Yellow network is that it had a high degree of modularity. Modularity is something that's been very popular here in the Web3 space as of lately. And so I thought I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that a bit more, on chains and protocols now kind of moving that direction and being designed to be more modular, and maybe what you think the benefits could be over the long run for Yellow Network having the ability to kind of change a bit on the fly and not be too set in stone. I think it's the one knock maybe I could make on something like Bitcoin or Ethereum is that it's so monolithic. It's very difficult to change, and there's positive benefits to that, but there can be negatives to it if you want to be able to upgrade it or make positive adjustments over time. Why is that such a big thing for Yellow Network?
The Yellow network, or Yellow SDK, which is like the core of the protocol, allows you to connect to any blockchain or uh, or to any blockchain, or like state channels, or it is modular by design. It's not a layer one and it's not a layer two. We call it layer three because it can connect to any layer two, and that's why we call it layer three. It's layer three foundation behind Yellow. And it's modular by design, but because of what it is, and we expect blockchains to keep evolving. And your code, the cool thing about your code, that now you write it like for Polygon, but maybe there's a new blockchain, uh, Solana with an X or something. And in the future, that's the blockchain of choice for whatever the industry is thinking of next. And your code will still work, which is very cool. Maybe you have a launch pad, maybe you have, or whatever code you have, and that code will still work. We've done 3 apps with the Yellow network. One is this broker app, or a connector to brokers, or Yellow Pay. So that's the apps we have done, but the community has done 20, 30 apps already. And but it's thanks to this modularity that you're talking. It's not set in stone, and it's constantly evolving. We're listening to the industry, and we're trying to fill all these gaps of what we think the industry needs in order to build the next mass adoption for Web3, which is what we're looking for.
Very nice. Any examples in terms of like use cases of what you can share in terms of what's being built on the Yellow Network? I'm sure there's, a bunch of different things.
It's really cool. Um, One of the finalists that I spoke of before, he built a game. So state channels are very well adapted to game because of the speed. It doesn't get faster than peer to peer communication when there's no 30,000 computers to, or even 20 computers to supervise each of your transactions. Solana, they're talking about 60,000 instructions per second, and they're talking about a roadmap where they will reach like 1 million transactions per second, one MIPS. And one MIPS was a VAX in 1976, and an Intel home computer in 1984 had one MIPS. That's how slow uh, this decentralized way of doing things is. Today we're talking teraflops, and to achieve these levels of speed, you want peer-to-peer communication. So that doesn't have a limit on speed, apart from the hardware. So the cool thing is that we had like totally things we hadn't understood. This guy did a game called Yetris, and the server is sending the blocks, and you can prove that you're the best Tetris player in the world. So that was like totally unexpected. A very cool broker, like a new way of thinking. It's an app where you swipe right and you go long, you swipe left and you go short, or you super like and you buy like $20. Like for this new generation, they're just gonna, okay, dodge, swipe left, Bitcoin, swipe right, whatever. And every day they get this interaction of swiping right or left, just like Tinder, but for trading. I thought that was so cool. They built it over a weekend, and they're making that a real business. uh, I think it's called Trade Layer, and very cool small apps, games and brokers, and but even brokers with a new spin, like this Tinder for trading. So it's very cool. I guess the imagination is the limit, and we have. We have passionate developers, like that were like, they've worked so hard, and now they want to go to the we have a final in Singapore, and they were asking like for some help with the with the flight tickets. So like, but really, like, we are working one to one with all these developers that are like, it's these new startups that I never expected it to happen so fast. I never expected to have adoption before launching. We're launching in a couple months, and they never expected this level of like adoption from the developers before launching.
No, that's awesome. Seems like there's a lot of fun things happening in the ecosystem. I love the idea of having a some kind of trading aspect that is kind of like Tinder related, just because it's kind of like there's this, the younger generation is very dopamine driven, right? It's like reaction to this, reaction to that. You can only hold their attention span for the same length of a goldfish. So having something very active makes a lot of sense. I like that application.
But you understand that this is a broker, not an exchange. And until now, the crypto industry has only focused on building exchanges. And the only real broker is Robinhood. But now we have this separation of exchange layers and broker and exchange with Yellow Network. And right away, once you give the tools to developers, they thought about, oh, it would be cool to have a broker, and they don't have to think about where the liquidity is coming from of buying $1 or selling 20 or whatever, or going long or short. They just focus on the front end, the broker layer, like in traditional finance where brokers and exchanges are very separated. But in crypto, like with Binance or something, they're very together. So it's really cool having seen that now we have separated exchanges and brokers, and this broker is going to bring more trades to Binance or to any exchange. So it's a new venue for trading, even for exchanges. It's not competition for exchanges. It's more trades that will eventually end up on exchanges through this. It's good for everybody. It's really cool.
Is DeFi and trading like the primary vertical in the ecosystem for these use cases, or are there other things that you're seeing being explored?
So initially, until like less than a year ago, we were focusing on trading, and our we had a CTO, Louis, and he was only we were it was this we were fixing trading, with this TrustFi. But we realized that the underlying layer of what we had built, the Yellow SDK, this trustless network, was so useful that we thought, let's just open up the core for everybody to use. So we hired Alessio that came from Cosmos, the Cosmos CTO. We hired him and said, okay, now you're going to focus on the SDK, and we're going to give this to everybody to use. A bit like Amazon that opened up AWS for everybody to use. So we just thought it was so valuable what we had. The underlying protocol was so valuable. We opened it up for everybody, and this is the this is a really cool adoption by the 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 community of developers that are building on top of Yellow SDK now. So it's like Yellow was focused on the trading aspect, but now the community has taken the core and is building totally different stuff. Some related to trading, but 80% not related to trading, just every other venue.
And then what can you tell us about the Yellow token in terms of its function within your guys' ecosystem in the Yellow network? Are these tokens stakeable? What else can you use them for?
The Yellow token is a very pure cryptocurrency in the sense of Bitcoin or Ethereum. So in Bitcoin, you mine, you make some effort, and you receive a reward in Bitcoin. And if you're a bad actor and you sign a transaction, uh, you lose those Bitcoin that you were rewarded if you sign a wrong transaction. And in Ethereum, same thing. You stake like 32 Ethereum, and then you get the privilege of signing or not a transaction. And if you fake it, then you lose those Ethereum that you staked. So cryptocurrency, it's like this necessary evil. Like, it rewards good behavior and it penalizes bad actors in the Yellow ecosystem. So when two parties are interacting without each other, they are putting a security deposit in Yellow, and if one of them is a bad actor, uh, nothing will happen regarding PNL. So the profits will be, which are in dollars USDT, those will be transferred instantly between the parties, but the security deposit will be lost. So it's penalizing the bad actor. So there's a sort of staking mechanism that allows you to put that collateral to play. And if you're a bad actor, you will lose those yellow tokens. And for different amounts of collateral, you need different amounts of yellow as security deposits. So it's very similar in philosophy to Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's just this necessary evil to make sure that everybody's behaving correct. So nobody's making or losing money. You're just losing your deposit if you're a bad actor. It's just there to make sure, and you stake it. And if you're a good actor, you will also get rewarded.
So what's on the horizon here for Yellow the rest of 2025? Any important announcements, updates, things users should be aware of? I'm sure you guys have quite few things going on your guys' roadmap. What should people be aware of?
So we had a regulated sale recently on Republic where we allowed American investors to accredited investors to buy into the yellow token and become part of the ecosystem. We're one of the very, very few crypto projects that has taken this regulated route by submitting everything to the SEC, and trying to be square. But we really want to be compliant as it gets. And now that's over. It was oversubscribed. We closed the round. It was a small round, only like 1 million, but it really was allowing just for American to become also part of this. And now that that's over, the next step is listing. Okay, so Alessio is completing the the white paper. Now that we opened up all these yellow SDK, we're adding that to the white paper. This white paper will be. It was already verified before to make sure we're not selling a security. So there will be some legal auditing, and once that's good, we are going to launch in some exchanges, and from there build on the ecosystem and continue to get more developers into our ecosystem, and a little bit the path of others before us. It's not just like we're not a competitor to exchanges, we're not really a competitor to blockchains. It's really a place where Web2 developers can write code to connect to one of the existing blockchains, whichever works better for the use case of the developer. And sometimes it's two blockchains, sometimes it's two blockchains uh, with different things. Maybe if you want to store some IP, maybe Bitcoin is the better place to store it, because that will exist in 10 years or 20 years. And maybe for other things you want Solana or something that is faster. So it's just an interface to write your code, and that can connect to any blockchain. And that's what Yellow SDK is. So we will try to get more developers on board and hopefully develop useful labs that are adding more value to the Yellow ecosystem and to the Yellow token. That will be the focus of of the foundation behind Yellow.
Where can developers find more developer documentation on building on Yellow and get more information on developing out?
Everything of Yellow SDK is under yellow.org, yellow.org. And the more commercial part and the news, the new apps that are being launched on Yellow and everything, they can find that on yellow.com. And our Twitter is Yellow. So just go to x.com/yellow, and there they can find a lot of information regarding everything we're doing.
Are you guys going to be at any events or conferences this year? Any engagements where people can meet you guys in person?
Yeah, I think so. I won't be there, but my other co-founder, my partner, will be there in Token 2049 in Singapore. He will also be there at Korea Blockchain Week. We're really trying to bring the Korean community, which is very active in Korea. We're also setting up in China a developer hub, not any operations, but most of the good blockchain engineers are actually in China. So we're also opening up some. We're starting to hire in China there as well, and um, we are in most. Somebody in our team is in most of the conferences we participate, and usually they will see us with the yellow t-shirts, or I put a yellow hat on. Not today, but usually I have a yellow hat. If they see a guy with a yellow hat, it might be me. Or yeah.
How do I get a hat, man? I need to get some merch so I can rep you on the podcast.
You can get, I'll send you one. We'll send you one.
Yeah, send me a hat. I'll wear it. I promise.
Really? Okay, we'll send you one.
100%. Yeah, Alexis, I appreciate the conversation. This has been really great today. I think you guys are doing some great things with the Yellow Network. I love the way it's set up and how it works and is underpinned underneath at the protocol layer as a network. And then also all the great stuff that you guys are working on in your guys' ecosystem and what's being built out. Keep me up to date on everything as things continue to grow and evolve. And would love to have you back on for a part 2 here sometime in the near future. If we're ever in the same place or same time, would love to do something in person as well. I'm sure that would be a lot of fun. So keep me up to date.
Yep. Thank you for inviting me. Really, it's our challenge now as three software engineer founders is really explaining what we have built that we think it's so important. Uh, but now we need people like you to try to send the message and get people to understand what we've built and build on Yellow and be part of what we're building as well, which is what's cool about crypto. No, it's with crypto you can own part of what you're building. When I got Ethereum in 2014, it was so cool. I could be like really like, and I really followed it, and I was so happy when it worked out. And it's uh, so that's the cool thing about crypto.
Yeah, it's the amazing thing about this community. Appreciate it, man. This has been great. Again, keep me up to date on everything, and let's talk again soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.